This talk is called Commitments Create Miracles, as Kansani already said. And today I'll be sharing a story about three miracles that unfolded in one commitment. And literally, the three miracles that unfolded in the one commitment are the reason that we are here on this Zoom call today. It's absolutely amazing. And because I'm talking about commitments and miracles, I'm going to give you an insight into what a commitment and a miracle actually is, that my way of seeing it. Because when I first heard of a commitment, I thought it was something about like pressure, obligation, like, it was something that limited my freedom. And so obviously it makes sense that you would be afraid of a commitment. And so, but today when I talk about commitment, this talk is specifically engineered to redefine what commitment means to you. And I'll redefine commitment in a way that allows you to experience more power, more freedom, more love in your life, in a way that it allows you to make a decision to become someone that you have never been before, so you can experience something that you have never experienced before. So a commitment is a heartfelt decision that creates a direction. That's all I'm going to be talking about, a heartfelt decision that creates a direction. And a miracle. If you go to Google and type in a miracle, it will say a God orchestrated event, or an event that defies the scientific laws or something of that sort. But today, when I talk about miracles, I'm going to be talking about a shift in perception. And a shift in perception, this definition comes from a book called The Course in Miracles. So a shift in perception. And I like to add on, followed by a shift in being. So you see something different. You start to be different in the world. You start to take different actions. You start to get new results. Let me put it on gallery view because I want to see it in 1 second. A miracle, shift in perception. You be different in the world. Because of the nature of this talk, I'm going to be sharing a lot about my story. And since I'm going to be sharing about my story, I want you to listen in a way that you can kind of put yourself in my shoes. And so what I mean by that is like there's going to take a different level of listening, because it's very natural for us to listen, and we'll be listening to our own thoughts about what the person is saying. It's like, I hear Dave talking, but why is he bald-headed? Why does he sound like that? Why is he moving like that? But I want you to listen from a deeper place, listen from your heart. And I like to share this analogy of like, when you get on a plane and, you're about to take off, and then the flight attendants tell you, if the plane goes down, put on a mask on yourself first and then put it on somebody else. And then they do all this movement. And nobody's really paying attention because they're like, it's not a big deal, bro. We're not dying right now. It's not a big deal. So they're not really paying attention. But on the other hand, if the plane is actually going down, everybody's going to be paying attention. They're going to be trying to save their life. They're going to be like, tell me what to do, please. So listen and pay attention to what I'm saying from that place, listening from your heart, actually. That's my invitation. My life has been a miracle, but not only my life, your life has been a miracle as well. And really cool things have been created, actually. This space is created right here. And because I want to make it really inclusive and make it not really about me, it's like this idea that I was given a spoon, a golden spoon or something like that, and that's why this is here. I'm going to share my backstory just so you can get an idea of where I came from, why I'm here, why I'm talking. And it would also allow me to work through the miracles that have actually happened. So growing up, I had a pretty colorful childhood. I was the oldest of 4 kids. My father passed when I was 3 years old. And when my father passed, immediately my mother went on survival mode, struggle mode. She didn't have a college degree, or she didn't have a good career, actually. She's just trying to provide for 4 kids. And so at a very young age, I learned that life was about surviving. And my mother did the best she could. Sometimes she worked 2 jobs. Sometimes she sold drugs. Sometimes she did whatever she could to provide for us. And so 2 things happened is that we only had just enough, and money was the most important thing in the world to my mom, actually. And so, but we never had money though. So immediately I picked up this idea that I was less than. I was a poor kid because my mom had the worst car ever. She would come to school and pick us up, and I was like, I don't want to get in that car. This idea that I was less than, other people had more than me, and something was wrong with me. And not only did our financial situation cause me to have this self-image that I was less than, but I even had experiences that, really tainted my spirit, and I would say put a hard shell over my heart and made me close off. Like the time when I was in the 8th grade, and my mother sold drugs. And I got out of school one day, I walked into the house, and 5 minutes after walking into the house, police were running into our house with guns drawn, telling everybody to get on the ground because my mom was selling drugs. That day, my mom went to jail for 9 months. Me and my brothers and sisters were uprooted, and we had to move with our family, which was 8 hours away. That experience, I felt isolated. I felt alone. Where's my mom at? She's supposed to be here with me. My mom's not here. And then another experience where I was going into high school and my mom bought me some Jordans because Jordans were really that was the shit right there if you had Jordans. She bought me some Jordans and she put them on layaway, which was a payment plan. And so she said, okay, before you go to school, we'll get the J's out for you so you can be fresh when you go to school. The day school started, I was like, Mom, where my shoes at? She was like, we had to take the shoes back because we didn't have any money. And so these experiences really left a mark on me, and they made me realize that I had to make shit happen. Like it's all up to me. If I want things, I have to make it happen. So literally when I was 14 years old, I got my first summertime job, and I worked at a car mechanic shop. I worked there for 8 hours a day, and this guy was paying me $30 an hour. He was getting over on me. I was working hard. He was hot as hell too. But that summer, I literally bought 4 pairs of J's. And I decided from that point that I would never go without. Even if my mom's not here, I would never go without. When I went into high school, I really started to notice how my upbringing really impacted me. I realized that, I lacked confidence. I was really insecure. And this really showed up in my grades and in sports. For example, I was usually like a C student, and like I would make a B sometimes if I liked the teacher, and I only did enough just to get by. I was a copycat, but hey, give me your test after you get done so I can just take the notes, and then I get by actually. And then in sports, I was a small kid. I'm a small guy, I guess, whatever. But I played football, and I realized that football wasn't going to work out. Actually, wasn't going to work out. So I went into basketball. And when I went into basketball, I was a short guy. I was very shy, and I was very insecure. So I would work really hard in practice. Like my coach would always tell me, he would say, Dave, I don't think basketball is for you, but you're going to go really far because you work hard. And so literally, I would, every time at a game, I wouldn't play in the game. Like literally, I would get in like maybe the last 5 minutes of the game, and then as soon as I would get on the court, I would freeze up, I would fall, or I would make a mistake. I didn't want the spotlight on me. I didn't want to be seen and heard. This is all back, this ties back to when I was a kid. I was poor, I was less than. I don't want nobody to see me, I want to hide. Even though I wasn't really good in high school, I still had a desire to experience more out of life. I always had this thing. The reason that I wanted J's is because I knew that there was more to life, and I knew that I can kind of experience more. And my mom would tell me, hey boy, you trying to live like the Joneses. And that's like a statement that's saying like, you trying to live outside of your means actually. But I knew that there was more to life actually. So I decided to go to college. None of my family had went to college, so I'll be the first one to go to college. And since my grades are so low, I think I had like a 1.7 or 1.9 GPA, not really good. I knew that I wasn't going to get accepted to like a normal university, like a 4-year college. So I applied to a technical college so I can get a trade, and I got accepted. So I went to a technical school to be a mechanic because I was already good with my hands, and I was like, I'm not that smart, so let me just go do something with my hands. It was really great. Like my family was so proud of me. Like I had done something that no one else in my family had done. I'm going to college, and I moved an hour away from my family, so I was really doing something. Like I was an independent man. I left my hometown. I'm like, I'm that guy. And so when I went into college, it was a great experience because, I got to understand myself. I made new friends. My grades even got better because I was actually doing something that I cared about. Unfortunately, I didn't graduate college though, because they had a writing course that I didn't want to do. Again, this idea that I wasn't smart enough. So I didn't do the writing course, so I didn't graduate. But luckily within this technical school, this get where I got a trade, I still was able to get a job immediately after I got out of school. So as soon as I left school, that summer I got my first job, and I was working at a car dealership. And so this was a real career. Like, yet again, like I created success for myself. I started working at this car dealership. I was 19 years old making $18 an hour. My family was so proud of me. It's like, Dave, you've done it. You make money consistently. You got a solid career. Like, just keep doing this and you're going to be great. The first year was amazing. I got me a car off the lot. I was partying on the weekends, just having a ball. But the second year, things started to shift because I started to notice that I was working with guys that were like 20 and 30 years older than me, and they were absolutely miserable. And I'm like 19 years old at the time, and I'm like, wait a minute, these guys, they don't look too good. They are really unhappy. They're miserable. And everybody's saying that this is what I should do. I should continue to stay on this path. But I started to get miserable as well. I was like, this is not fun. I would have to be at work at 8 a.m. every day, and I would wake up at 7:50, and I would get to work late every single day. And then I would get off work. I would work out, and I would smoke weed, and I would watch TV, and it was rinse and repeat for a whole year. I knew something was off. I knew that there was more to life. And this is when the first miracle happened. It was a Saturday morning, and I was on YouTube, and I came across this motivational video, and it was this guy named Eric Thomas, a hip hop preacher. And he was talking about success. He was speaking at a school, and he was saying all these things that are very unfamiliar to me. I've never heard anybody talk about success. I only heard about get a good job and go to work, and that's all that matters, bro. Just get by. Make sure you got food for your kids. I ain't even had no kids. Just get by, though. Eric Thomas said something that literally changed my life. It moved me. He said, you have to want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe. And I was like, what? Succeed as bad as I want to breathe? It wasn't really what he said, but it was how he said it. It was a passion that he had. I can tell that he knew that he was doing something meaningful. He was charismatic. He felt good about himself. And literally that moment, I knew exactly what I wanted. I want to be like him. I don't want to be like him, but I want to feel how he feels. He's passionate. He's living a life of meaning. He's talking about inspiring and uplifting other people. I want that. I don't want to live a life of, just mundane, rinse and repeat. I want to live a life that's exciting. Everything changed. That was the first miracle. I had a shift in perception. I saw that there was a possibility that I didn't have to live a life of just getting by. I didn't have to just survive. I can create something that's meaningful. I can be somebody different. And literally that same day, I went to the mall and I met my first business mentor. And he was in the network marketing industry. And he started to teach me about success and personal development. I started to read books like Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I started to be different. I started to study. I started to go to seminars, getting mentorship. My life had changed. It was no longer about surviving. Now it was about being successful. I want to be a success. I want to create a success out of myself. Literally within the next 3 months, I resigned from the car dealership and I started working at a furniture store. And this furniture store was really amazing because I traded my dirty mechanic clothes in for a suit and tie now. I'm a professional. I'm that guy now. And my family like, yeah, bro, you actually doing something. Well, they couldn't even imagine this. They're like, bro, who are you? But I'm that guy. Working at this furniture store, it was amazing. I'm learning how to become a better communicator. I'm learning how to sell. I'm building relationships. I'm setting goals. And while I'm working at this furniture store, I got introduced to life insurance. I got recruited by a life insurance company. And the really funny thing is that when I got introduced to the life insurance company, they were like, bro, you already a salesperson? You can make $1 million. You can buy your mama a house and a car. You could do all this. So I got involved in life insurance, and I accidentally sold my first life insurance policy for $600. It only took me 2 hours. So my mind was blown. I was like, bro, I've been selling furniture and making $600 a week. And now I'm about to go, I sold life insurance and made $600 in 2 hours. So I got really excited and I resigned from the furniture store and I started selling life insurance. It was really exciting at first. There was possibility that I could literally be a millionaire before I was 25. There was possibility. But the thing about life insurance is that if you don't sell life insurance, you don't make money. And on my previous job at the furniture store, I had a salary, so I was good. And I had just moved into a new apartment. I started selling life insurance, but the excitement faded because no one wants to buy life insurance from a 20-year-old. I'm calling people, hey, you want to buy life insurance? No. I'm knocking on doors. Hey, you want to buy life insurance? No. Knocking on other doors. They're like, do you have life insurance? I was like, oh, no, I don't actually. Close the door on me. So I wasn't making any money, and my bank account started to drop. I started to fall behind on my bills. My lights were getting cut off in my apartment. I started to fall behind on my car payments. And when my bank account dropped, my self-worth went with it. My self-confidence went with it. My self-esteem went with it, because my whole life it was about money. And then I made a little bit of money, and now the money is leaving. So this must mean something about me. I'm unworthy now. I'm not enough again. Here we go with this cycle again. So I started to spiral into depression, actually. I started to punish myself and judge myself and really be really harsh. It's like, Dave, you said you want to be successful, and now you're not selling life insurance. You suck. You're a piece of shit. You don't make no money. You're not actually doing the things that you said you're going to do. And it was funny because I was trying to motivate myself, but when you're depressed, motivation don't work. Life is grayscale. And because I didn't know how to cope with this depression, I would wake up every morning for 2 months before the sun came up, and I would go sleep in my closet because I don't want to see the sunrise. I didn't want to experience another day where I'm feeling like shit. And I would be sleeping in my closet, just marinating in this self-hate, this self-doubt, and this self-judgment. I didn't think I can talk to my family because, no one was talking about mental health, and no one in my family had ever shared anything that they were struggling with. So it's like, just keep it to myself. I'm going around them smiling and things like that, and they thinking I'm cool, but internally, I'm experiencing hell. When you're depressed, it's not really a good idea to make life-changing decisions. But I did, because you're not that clear. So the life insurance company that I was working with, they're based out of Florida. And my idea was that if I go to Florida, I'll be around successful people and they'll help me not be depressed anymore. I had to move out of my apartment anyways because I wasn't paying for it. So I had to do something. And I didn't want to stay in my hometown because my hometown was the reason that I was depressed. It was the hometown. There was no opportunity. I couldn't sell life insurance there. So I need to go somewhere else. This is the thing though. Wherever you go, you take yourself with you. So me and my buddy, we packed up my car and my apartment, and we drove to Florida, which was an 18-hour drive. It's about 1,100 miles and 1,800 kilometers. I think that's it. And we drove there, and when I got to Florida, I was still depressed. Imagine that. I was still depressed. And when I got there, I actually had a mentor, quote unquote mentor. He was like the head guy in the life insurance company. And so I was looking up to him to help me out. But because I felt like shit, I was miserable, I was depressed, I had a negative self-image. I thought I always made mistakes. He was a reflection of that for me. So he pointed out that I was a piece of shit. He pointed out that I always made mistakes. He pointed out that I wasn't enough. He was trying to motivate me, but it was kind of like this deficiency motivation. Like, you suck, and if when you realize you suck, you'll start to do better. That doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. So while I'm in Florida, I'm actually sleeping in my car, and I have this mentor that I'm working with. And I'm operating under this paradigm that you have to struggle and sacrifice to be successful. I'm still knocking on people's doors. And this time, it's not that they don't want to buy life insurance because I'm 20 years old. They don't want to buy life insurance because they can tell that I need something. They're like, bro, your energy is off. You don't look too good. And you trying to sell life insurance to us? Close the door. You have to sacrifice and struggle to be successful to get what you want. I was operating under the paradigm of you have to want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe. He didn't mean that, but that's how I took it. That's how I took it. Still trying to sell life insurance. And this is the thing, people talk about sacrifice. And I think there's a difference in the sacrifice. It's like, I think it's a good idea to, sacrifice sugar for a little bit so you can become healthier, sacrifice alcohol or smoking. But when you start to sacrifice your mental health, your relationships, who you are, that's not where you want to go. One day I stayed at someone's house. I stayed the night at someone's house. And when I came out to leave the next day, my car got repossessed. And this was very defeating for me because that was my home. That's where I was living at. And I knew it was going to happen because they had been calling me. They're like, Dave, we need our car back. You're not paying for it. But I was sleeping in it. That's my home. And so when my car got repossessed, I talked to my mentor guy, and he helped me get a rental car in hopes that I would change my fate, that something different would happen if I got a rental car and I started selling life insurance. Nothing really changed. I still was knocking on doors, depressed, sleeping in the rental car now. And now it's 2 weeks later, and the rental car company is like, hey, can you bring us our car back? Because you're not paying for it. Now they want their car back. I almost went to jail because I kept their car too long. So I returned the car to the airport, and I dropped the key in the console, and I kind of snuck around because I didn't want to go to jail, honestly. And now I'm sitting in this airport. And it looks to me, it's like, oh yeah, this is the end of the road, bro. Like, you don't have nothing. And I had $300 in my bank account. I don't know how. This is the end of the road for me. But I'm still operating under this idea that you got to keep going. You got to make it happen, bro. But internally, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I'm sitting in this airport and I'm fighting with myself back and forth. Like, I want to do it, but I feel like shit. I think I need to do it, but I don't want to. What should I do now? And then the voice of God, the internal wisdom, said, Dave, go back home. It was clear. That was it. It's the end of the road. Go back home. Go back to Texas. You don't have to struggle no more. This is unnecessary. So I booked a plane flight back to Texas. I slept in the airport for 12 hours. And I went back to Texas to live with my grandmother, and she allowed me to sleep on her sofa. And I remember when I got back to my grandmother's place, I sat on her sofa and I finally felt that I could relax. I finally felt that I could decompress. I can stop running now, finally. And even though my grandma was making some bomb food, she was taking care of me, there was no pressure at all. I still had this judgment of like, bro, you did all of that just to quit and come sleep on your grandmother's sofa? You said you was gonna be successful now. Like, what happened, bro? I was broken, I was miserable. And I knew that I didn't want to listen to anyone else. I just knew that I wanted to feel better. I lost myself in this whole process. So my way of feeling better, I was like, I need to figure out. I went to YouTube and I was like, how do I feel better? How do I feel better? And I came across spiritual information, like spiritual teachers and things like that. And it was totally different from the success stuff that I had been listening to. Now it was about like spiritual stuff that I didn't know what they was talking about, but it felt good though. It felt really good. And so I would be walking around with my headphones in, listening to these spiritual teachers all day, every day, because I'm trying to drown out this negative self-judgment about being a piece of shit because I'm a quitter and because I didn't do what I said I was going to do, da, 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 da. So I got these headphones in trying to drown out the noise, distracting myself. And this is when the third miracle happened. So I was working out in the gym, and this day in particular, I was really feeling judgmental and really kind of punishing myself. And I really wanted to distract myself from all this judgment and things that I was experiencing. So I had my headphones in, listening as usual, and I was working out, listening to the spiritual teacher. I was trying to listen to it, but I really wasn't listening to it because I was listening to my thoughts about why I suck, actually. So I need to work out harder. And I hear something. I hear something that changes everything. This is the second miracle right here. I'm listening to the spiritual teacher, and she says, "You're worthy and you can stop trying." Whoa. I felt it in my heart. It was a visceral feeling. I knew that was true. My whole life, I've been trying to prove to everybody that I was worthy. I need to be successful and now I'm worthy. I need to make a lot of money and then I'm worthy. I was 21 years old at the time and no one had ever told me that I was worthy. I hear this word and it touches my heart. I'm like, this shit is true. I've never experienced something so true. That moment I had a shift in perception. I'm worthy and it's not about me trying. I realized that instead of seeking validation for others, I need to find my own internal validation. That moment, it was less about me trying to prove to others, and it was more about me proving to myself. And I say proving lightly, but now this feeling that I felt, it was so true. I wanted to realize that within me, realize my own worthiness, realize the worthiness that I am. I am worthy. You're worthy. We don't have to try to be worthy. It's innate to us. Our aliveness, the fact that you're sitting on Zoom right now in a chair, that's your worthiness right there. Shifted. I start to be different towards myself. I'm worthy and I can stop trying. So why am I beating myself up? Why do I think I'm a piece of shit? Why am I hating myself? Because I have ideas that I'm not doing enough. But guess what? I'm worthy now. So it's cool, man. And I say I'm worthy and I can stop trying, but it's not about, it takes effort. And so I woke up to that I'm worthy, and then I start putting in the effort of realizing that I'm worthy. Within a couple months, I got a job at a hotel, and I was working overnight from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I was putting in the effort. I was writing affirmations. I was meditating. I was reading. I put in the effort to realize my worthiness. Within another 3 months, I got a job at a designer shoe store. And I started working there for 3 months, and then they hired me on as a sales manager. I started to feel really good about myself. I started to speak kind words, loving thoughts, loving actions, really taking care of myself. I started to really rebuild myself and see who I am. I didn't have to try. Everything that I needed was right here the whole time. I didn't see it though. It was right here. When I was working at this designer shoe store, it was amazing because people were like, who is this guy? He got some good ass energy. Like his vibes are high. He looks like he really likes himself because I did. My life changed. I had a shift in perception. It was no longer about me trying to prove that I was worthy. It was more about me realizing that I was worthy. Seeing that it's already here. I got it. I got it. I got the light. One day I was at my grandmother's swimming pool and it was a hot summer day. I had my shirt off and I'm just out there like vibing. And the energies are rising and it comes to me. I just want to shine. I just want to shine. I don't want to try no more. I just want to shine. I want to be me. I didn't know what that meant at the moment. I mean, at that time, but literally after that, I remembered. I was like, wait a minute. I remember a couple years back, I saw the motivational video and I wanted to be a speaker. So I went and bought a voice recorder and I started to record myself talking and speaking. I started making videos. I wasn't uploading the videos, but I was making videos and just seeing myself. I was putting in the effort. I was putting in the effort to see my worthiness. I'm working at the designer store. I started a podcast. And I started creating YouTube videos and I started creating Instagram videos. And this was now in 2020. So during 2020, COVID happened, obviously, and I got laid off. But it was okay because I fell in love with expressing myself. I fell in love with being me. I met my beautiful partner, Yulita, and we started having fun together. We started creating together. And I knew that this is what I wanted to experience. In 2020, I hired my first life coach, and he was a vision coach. So he helped me build a vision for my future. He was like, hey, bro, you can do this. And when I was working with him, I was like, whoa. I was like, I want to do what you're doing. You look like you're having fun. You out here, you out here helping people, supporting people, showing people that they can change their life. That's exactly what I want to do. And so from the year 2020, I was just building the foundation, still putting in the work, putting in the effort to realize my worthiness, creating a lot of videos, working with Yulita. She helping me see myself. She helping me see that I'm worthy and that I don't got to try. And then led up to 2021. And in 2021, that's when I really started to, really dive into coaching and started supporting people and helping people. And then at the end of 2021, me and Yulita, we took the leap here to Mexico. Still putting in the work. I'm not trying. I'm just putting in the effort. I'm doing the work. I'm still noticing when I feel that I'm inadequate, I'm not enough, I'm unworthy, and I'm working through those moments. 2022, I meet so many beautiful people, so many people on this call right here that I meet. I'm building relationships. I host a few Shine Space groups. I'm now supporting people shining, experiencing their self-expression, creating a little bit of success for myself. You have to show up. I didn't just have that I'm worthy and then I can just lay back down. The worthiness is there, but we have to realize it for ourselves. You got to show up for it. You got to show up for it. So now we're going to fast forward to 2023. I know it's a big jump, but it's a lot of details in that if I told you about it, we would be here for hours. But I want to take you to 2023 because this is when the third miracle happened. So from 2023, 2020 to 2023, I was doing great. Like I'm creating videos, I'm fucking having a good ass time with myself. But I knew that there was something more to be expressed. There was something more to be expressed. There's something more for you to express about yourself. There's more of you that wants to shine through, and we can allow that. So March 2023, the beginning of the month, I made a few commitments to make some investments with some people. And when I made those commitments, they was like, Dave, you committed? I was like, yeah, I'm committed. When I made those commitments, I didn't know what a commitment was. I thought it was about pressure, obligation. I need to do it. What are they going to think about me? That's what happened. I thought it was that. And so obviously the whole month of March, I wasn't committed. Why would I commit to pressure and obligation? And then April the 1st comes and now I'm sitting with myself and I'm like, wait a minute. I said that I was going to uphold these commitments by the end of April. I said I was going to make this happen. But I didn't make anything happen and I'm judging myself for last month. And now I'm fearing the future and I'm worried about the future. I'm like, what are they going to think about me when I get on the call with them and I didn't make it happen? I'm stressing myself out now. And it is because I have an idea of what a commitment is that is not of service to what I want. April the 2nd comes the day after and I take my notebook and I start to write about it. And I don't know what I got to, but after I got done writing, I went to sit by the river and I was sitting on the bench by the river and I am still experiencing like this back and forth, this idea of a commitment. I want to be committed, but I'm not really committed. I didn't do nothing last month. What are they going to think about me? Back and forth, fighting with myself. I knew there was something there. And as I'm sitting there, this is the third miracle. I realized that I can only be committed today. I can only be committed today. Why am I worried about what's going to happen at the end of the month if I could just make a decision today? I didn't decide. That's why I'm stressed out. I didn't decide that I was going to make it happen. I was just committed, but I didn't know what a commitment was. So I was just in the middle. I'm in pressure and stress, obligation, and fear. I didn't make a decision. So I'm in this indecision and I realized I can decide today. And when I decide today, I don't care what happens at the end of the month. I made a decision today. I had a shift in perception. A commitment is not about the past, the future. It's not about fear, obligation. It's not about nothing. It's a decision that you make today. And let's add on, it's a heartfelt decision. It creates a direction. I got so fucking excited about this commitment. I was like, bro, I'm fucking free now. I can make a decision. That's it. I can choose. It doesn't have to do anything with the past, the future. I just choose today. I went back home. I was so fired up. I started to tell Yulita, I was like, Yulita, I know what a commitment is. It's the decision that we make. It's a decision that we make and we keep showing up for it. I was like, Yulita, this is what the hell it is, the commitment. We got so excited. I started to tell her about all the things that I ever desired and that I wanted. And then the thing that came up was like, whoa, for 7 years now, the seed was planted about me being a speaker. I had tried different things. I went to Toastmasters. I changed my Instagram name to Inspire Speaker, but I never made a decision. I never decided. When I was talking to Yulita, I was like, whoa, I can decide that I'm gonna be a speaker. Today, I was April the 2nd. And I'm not just gonna be a speaker. I, Dave Sean, am committed to being the best Inspire speaker in the world. That's what I'm committed to. It's not a comparison. I'm not better than nobody else. I am the best because it pulls something out of me. I become someone different. And this is a cool thing, bro. You're not gonna find another Inspire speaker because I created that shit. You ain't gonna find nobody else. It's me. I decided in that moment. It's cool because before that moment, I have been like trying to, I was like, what do speakers do? Can I really do it? I was hiding behind all different types of stuff. I never made a decision. But when I made that decision, the next morning I woke up and I was like, I'm a speaker. I decided, what do speakers do? They do speaking events. Like what? Imagine that shit. So literally within, I think it was 11 days later, I created a live Zoom event. It was called Commitments Create Miracles. My boy Josiah was there. Yulita was there. 15 people showed up to that event. I made a decision and then an event happened. I had a shift in perception. I saw something different. I can decide today. I had the event. It was absolutely amazing. It was so fun. At the end of the call, I said, hey, y'all, I'm Dave Sean, and I'm committed to being the best Inspire speaker in the world. I'm committed to speaking on stage on May the 31st. And there was a friend of mine named Dupum. He was on the call. He was like, that's what you want to do, Dave? I said, yes. So we got on the call the next day, and we started to talk about it. And he's like, yeah, I know these people that are having a Founders Fest in London on May the 20th. He's like, let's reach out to them and see if we can create that. So we started sending emails back and forth. It didn't work out, but the energy was amazing. I made a decision, and now I'm talking to this guy about freaking speaking on stage in London. Like, what, bro? That really happened? Not only did that happen, so London didn't work out. I don't give a shit. I'm still the best Inspire speaker in the world. I talked to my boy Kinsani, and I was like, Kinsani, I wanted him to be at the first talk, but he couldn't be at the first talk. He was like, oh, bro, it's okay. Let's set something up so my friends from South Africa can come. And now we're here. The miracle is still unfolding. This talk has happened 5 times now. You're part of a miracle right now. A decision that I made, a commitment. Commitments create miracles. It's a possibility that's created. You create possibilities when you allow yourself to make a decision. And not only just a decision, it's a decision that allows you to experience something that you have been wanting to experience for a while now. You become someone that is able to experience that. So that's what the decision did. I started to ask more for myself. It's like, oh, fuck, bro, you're going to be the best Inspire speaker in the world. You got to fucking show up, bro. You got to fucking do the work. It ain't just going to come to you. You got to show up. And thanks to Kinsani and all of you that are here, we're experiencing this and we're watching this happen right now. So that day when I got so excited about the commitment and the decision that I made, I went home and I wrote a document out and I called it 9 Steps to Redefining Commitment. And I've been going over this document with my clients actually, and it's been fucking amazing. It's been amazing because I'm helping people make a decision. First, we redefine what a commitment is, and then we just decide. Today, not tomorrow, I decide today. Like I decided to be the best Inspire speaker today. It wasn't yesterday, it was today. And then we show up for it. So as I come to a close today, I want to share some points from this document that I find very valuable and that are really exciting, in hopes that you get something from it. And also that, like, you know, hey, you know, Fabrice, we miracle makers, man. It's like, make it inclusive. Like, this is not about Dave's story and what Dave did. It's about the possibility of like, you can do this too. By betting on you, Showing up for that one thing. It's love. It's love. So now I'm going to find this document on my laptop. I already got it right here. So these are a few points that I think are very important to creating miracles in your life, making a decision, committing to something. The first one, a commitment is only asking more from yourself. It's an opportunity for you to become someone you have never been before so you can experience something that you have never experienced before. It's love. Life is expression. Life, God is expressing right now as you. It is your natural birthright to be expressed. It is your natural birthright to experience more out of life. It is your natural birthright to become more so that you can experience more. When you make a commitment, it's an opportunity for you to ask more from yourself. Am I capable? Do I want to do it? Do I want to decide today? You're asking more from yourself. It's love. Love wants to be expressed. And you know, I know, like me doing this shit, right, this is love. Like I am so in love right now with all of you. I am in love right now. That's the same thing for you. The next level of expression is love. Loving more of who you are. A commitment is a decision-making tool that moves you from wanting and thinking to deciding and committing. I was thinking about being a speaker for a long damn time. I was wanting to be a speaker for a long time. I never decided. It's just a decision-making tool. It ain't no pressure. It creates a direction for you. It ain't no pressure. You don't have to do it. I don't have to do this. But I do want to do it. I made a decision. It's a tool. You can think about it all day. You can want it all day. Are you going to commit to it? Are you going to just decide today? Yulita likes this one. I like this one too. When you choose, decide, commit, it creates energy for effort. When you don't choose, when you don't decide, when you don't commit, all you got is excuses. You just got excuses everywhere. Like I made so many excuses why I couldn't be a speaker. I was like, because I'm in Mexico, nobody speaks English here. I can't be a speaker. I can't travel because of COVID. I can't do all this shit. Excuses, excuses, excuses. Because I did make a decision. Choose, decide, commit, it creates energy for effort. You get the energy. So imagine this. Like if I never chose to shine, I wouldn't have energy to shine. If I never decided to be the best inspired speaker in the world, I wouldn't have energy to do it. It makes sense. Choose, decide, commit. It creates energy for effort. A commitment is not determined by anything outside of you. No person, place, or thing. It's your choice. It's your decision. It's internal choice and decision that you can make. You are taking your power to choose back. I don't care about what happened yesterday. I don't care what they said. I don't care about the weather. It doesn't matter. Are you committed today? You just make a decision today. Nothing outside of you can determine if you're committed. Nothing outside of you can do. A buddy of mine, he was like, yeah, I want to make a commitment, but what if I fail? I was like, great. Are you still committed? It doesn't matter. You get to wake up and decide every fucking day. I guess you fail, you committed. That's good. Let's go, man. The weather don't matter. Like, let's show up. A commitment. This is a really good one actually, because this is what happens when you make a commitment and you think something's like when you think it's about what you're doing. When I made the commitment to make an investment, I thought I had to do more. I was like, I need to go do a lot of shit to be committed. I need to do stuff. It's not about what you're doing. The action comes naturally. A commitment is not about doing, it's about who you're being right now. Your only job is to work through everything that's keeping you from being committed right now. Past, future, doubt, limitation, fear, everything. It's like this. I like to say this. It's like, let's say you make a time sensitive commitment. It's like, okay, I'm gonna generate 20K within 6 months, 3 months, whatever, 20K within 3 months. And when you start saying like, but what if it doesn't happen? That's in the way of your commitment today. I didn't do it last month. That's in the fucking way. It's in the way of the commitment. The commitment is a decision. Your only like decision that you're making is being committed today. It's not about what you're doing. It's not about the doing. The doing comes natural, but you have to be committed today because the energy moves from the commitment. Your thoughts, your words, your actions start to align with that. And the really cool thing about a commitment is that it is fail proof. You can't fail with this because every moment you have an option to make a decision. Am I committed or not committed? What is it that I want? You start to notice that you're not committed. It's an opportunity for you to recommit. It's an opportunity for you to redecide. I was like, this is what I want. This is what I'm moving to. It's all good. It ain't no pressure. It's all good. I like to say it's not pressure, but it's practice. We practice it. It's just showing up for it every single day. This is the last one, and this is my favorite one because it really just synthesizes this whole thing. It's like you will never accomplish a commitment. That's not the point. You won't accomplish a commitment. The point is to become a walking testimony of the commitment that you made today. Every time you decide today, it's an embodiment. It's a way of being. I'm committed to being the best inspired speaker today. I accomplished it. I committed. I'm here. You become a walking testimony of the commitment that you make. Every day you win. Every day you win when you decide, this is what I'm committed to. This is what I'm showing up for. You win, you can't lose. Not about what you're doing, it's about who you become in the process. And you can become it today. You decide today, you become it today. Life is expression. It's expressing through us right now. Life wants to express more through you. There are things that you want to experience and you can experience them. But for you to experience those things, it's highly likely that you have to become someone that you have never been before so you can experience something that you have never experienced before. And in that process of becoming, it's a loving act. You're asking more from yourself from a place of love. It's not pressure. You don't have to do it. You don't need to do it. It's love. It's an opportunity for you to show up in a way that you have never shown up before. It's an opportunity for you to create miracles in your life. It's an opportunity for you to show up and shine. That's what it's an opportunity to do. This is Commitments Create Miracles. I'm Dave Shani. I'm committed to being the best inspired speaker in the world. I really appreciate y'all all for being here. Thank you. Let's go. Hey, Kintani, I got you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's go.
Yo,
so I released.
Fun fact. I have listened to Dave share his message about 4 times now. And every time he shares it, it just sounds brand new. I don't know what secret sauce, I don't know what you be practicing, what your morning routine is, but every time, like, exactly, Fabrice just said, it never gets boring. And your mind would think, it's like, okay, I'm watching this for the 4th time. It's the same thing. No, it's not. It is not the same thing. So I did something different on the 4th time. I made notes for myself. And I'll write a quick message to Dave and then we'll share it as well. But some really, really nice stuff that Dave always says is, or something that I realized as you were saying this is, one main point that I actually want to emphasize is that committing is uncomfortable. And I think that's just like the truth of it. It's such an uncomfortable thing to do, but not committing is also uncomfortable. So you kind of have to, like, you know, you kind of have to choose your battles all the time. And that's what Dave teaches me every single week. But just before we do leave, a phrase that Dave always has mentioned throughout his miracles is that shift in perspective. And I think just before we leave, Dave, something I was thinking about this week as well is, I guess, what are some practical tips, you know, when you want to change your perspective, but like there's just so much you feel is in the way, and you're like, you know, or for someone that may not understand, like, what does that mean? You know, I want to be different. I want to express more. I want to, you know, do all these things. You know, and I've just realized that I don't need to. I don't have to try, but I want to. But what are some things that we can do to sort of really pivot and really shift the perspective?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Kasani. Great question, man. Um, and so it's one of those things where it's like I don't think you can force a perspective, or you can like force yourself to see something differently. But it's kind of it's like a sneaky way of doing it. Is like that's a sneaky way of doing it. Is that like you create the commitment, and in creating a commitment, you start to ask more for yourself, and so you position yourself to be open to possibility because the way that you have been doing it right now it's not working, and you know that there's more to experience, but you have to create some direction. So that's it. It's like you know a lot of people want to experience something, but they're not clear on what it is that they want to experience, and they don't have any direction. So it's like no direction. You can spiral in the same position for a long time until you create the direction, and that's the commitment. And it's a natural unfoldment. You literally start to see things differently when you make a decision. Just like I say in the story, it's like when I decide that I'm
Mm.
going to be the best inspired speaker in the world, I start to see opportunities that I didn't see anymore. And so it does start with that, that clear decision, and making it even more. It's like I like to say that it's a heartfelt decision because we don't want to just make decisions out of just like I need to do this, but it's like what is love asking from you? What is love calling forth from you? And that's how I see it.
And it's crazy because like just in that, I just had a wow light bulb moment. Just in that switch, that's kind of where the miracle happens. Just that subtle, oh yeah, I can actually do this. That's where the miracle is. But Dave, every week you always come through and shine, and you're doing exactly what you're saying you're gonna do. So from my side, from South Africa, and all my new friends now from around the world, thank you for coming, and thank you for shining with us. Shout out Dave and everyone who keeps coming, and let's keep doing this. Let's keep shining. Thanks everyone for your time.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all for showing up this morning, and I will see y'all around. Hey, one more thing. So the Commitments Create Miracle document that I created, it's really, I really redefined it, and it's a really good document. It really supports you. So if you want the document, I will send you an email. If you drop your email in the chat, I will get you the document. So you got 5 seconds right now, not 5 seconds, but you want it like yeah. If you drop your email in the chat before we hop out of here, all right, cool. And what is it called? The chat will be saved, so I'll be able to go through and send it to you actually. Bet. Let's get it. Cool. This is foundational work, and I really, yet again, appreciate y'all for showing up here because I will be inviting you when I'm on stage, and you're gonna be there with me, and you're gonna be like, "Fuck, I seen that dude when he was freaking doing the Zoom call. He was so lit, and now he's on the stage actually." So, yeah, thank y'all so much. Have a beautiful rest of your Sunday, and I'll see y'all around. Bye bye. Much love.